Thousands of years ago, long before the rise of modern civilization, before empires ruled the land and before history was written in ink and stone, there existed a story. A story whispered through generations, passed from voice to voice, from mind to imagination. A story about a place that should not have existed, and yet might have. Somewhere far beyond the horizon, beyond the known edges of the ancient world, there was said to be a city, hidden from time itself. Not just any city, but a city of unimaginable beauty, of knowledge beyond its time, and of power so immense it rivaled the gods themselves. A place where golden towers reflected sunlight across endless oceans, where water flowed through perfectly engineered canals, where every street, every structure, every detail seemed to follow a design far greater than simple human understanding. This was not merely a civilization, it was perfection, or at least as close to perfection as humanity had ever come. That city was known as Atlantis. But the question that has haunted humanity for centuries still remains. Was Atlantis real, or was it simply the greatest story ever told? The legend begins with a man, a philosopher, a thinker, a storyteller whose words would echo across thousands of years. Plato. Over 2,000 years ago, in ancient Greece, Plato wrote of a powerful civilization unlike anything the world had ever seen. In his dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, he described an island beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar, a gateway between the known world and the unknown. Beyond that gateway, he claimed, lay Atlantis, a vast island nation surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean, rich in resources, blessed with fertile lands, and unmatched in beauty, intelligence, and power. It was said that Atlantis was not simply built. It was designed with intention, with precision, with a level of planning that suggested a deep understanding of both nature and engineering. At the center of Atlantis stood its capital, a city unlike any other, built in perfect concentric circles, rings of land and water expanding outward like ripples across a still surface. Bridges connected each layer, allowing movement throughout the city, while ships sailed through canals that cut through the land with astonishing symmetry. Massive walls surrounded the city, not only to protect it, but to display its strength, its dominance, its superiority. And at the very heart of it all stood a grand temple dedicated to Poseidon, the god of the sea. Inside, towering pillars covered in gold and silver reflected light in dazzling patterns, illuminating vast halls filled with statues of gods, kings, and heroes. Every detail of Atlantis spoke of greatness, of ambition, of a civilization that had reached heights others could only dream of. The people of Atlantis were no ordinary people. They were intelligent, disciplined, and driven by a desire to explore, to create, to expand their understanding of the world around them. They mastered engineering, architecture, navigation, and agriculture. They built systems that controlled water, allowing their lands to remain fertile and their cities to thrive. Their ships crossed vast oceans, establishing trade routes with distant lands, spreading their influence far beyond their island home. For generations, Atlantis stood as the greatest civilization the world had ever known, a symbol of what humanity could achieve at its very best. But as history has shown time and time again, No civilization remains at its peak forever. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the people of Atlantis began to change. What was once wisdom turned into arrogance. What was once prosperity turned into greed. What was once strength turned into a hunger for control. Their ambition, once a force for growth, became something darker. They began to look beyond their borders, not with curiosity, but with desire. The desire to conquer, to dominate, to rule. The balance that once defined Atlantis began to break, and with it, the very foundation of their civilization. According to Plato, the gods were watching. Zeus, the king of the gods, saw what Atlantis had become, a civilization corrupted by its own greatness, and decided that it could not continue. And then, without warning, it began. The earth trembled beneath their feet, first gently, then violently. Buildings cracked, towers collapsed, and the ground itself began to split apart. The sky darkened as storms gathered with terrifying speed, thunder echoing across the heavens, lightning tearing through the clouds. And then, the ocean rose. Massive waves, towering like mountains, surged toward the city, crashing against its walls with unstoppable force. Water flooded the streets, sweeping away everything in its path. People ran in terror, searching for safety, but there was nowhere to go. The land beneath Atlantis began to sink, slowly at first, then all at once, as if the world itself had decided to erase it. And in a single day and night of unimaginable destruction, Atlantis was gone, swallowed by the ocean, buried beneath the waves, lost to time as if it had never existed at all. For centuries, the story remained, a legend, a mystery, a question without an answer. Some believed it was true, a forgotten chapter of human history waiting to be rediscovered. Others dismissed it as fiction, a story created by Plato not to describe a real place, but to deliver a warning about pride, greed, and the dangers of power. Yet the legend refused to disappear. It lived on in the minds of dreamers, in the hearts of explorers, in the endless curiosity of humanity itself. Across generations, people searched. Ships sailed into unknown waters, guided only by ancient texts and fading maps. Expeditions ventured into the depths, risking everything for a single discovery. But no matter how far they traveled, Atlantis remained hidden. Today, however, the story may be changing. With the advancement of modern technology, humanity now has the ability to explore the deepest parts of the ocean like never before. Using advanced sonar systems, satellite imaging, and deep-sea exploration vehicles, we can now see what was once invisible. And what we are beginning to discover is raising new questions. Beneath the ocean, there are formations that appear unnatural, structures that resemble walls, roads, and foundations, patterns that suggest design rather than coincidence. Some scientists argue that these are simply natural formations shaped by geological processes over millions of years. But others are not so certain, because the deeper we explore, the more we realize that the ocean still holds secrets, secrets that have remained hidden for thousands of years. Many theories have been proposed. Some believe Atlantis may have been located near the island of Santorini, where a massive volcanic eruption once destroyed an advanced ancient civilization. Others suggest the Azores Islands as a possible location, believing they may be the remains of a once larger landmass, now submerged beneath the sea. And then there are those who believe Atlantis is still out there, hidden deep beneath the ocean floor, waiting to be discovered.
Or perhaps Atlantis was never meant to be found. Perhaps it was never a place, but a message. A warning from the past, reminding us that no matter how advanced a civilization becomes, it is never immune to its own flaws. Even today, the mystery remains unsolved. Atlantis exists somewhere between myth and reality, between science and imagination, between history and legend. And maybe, just maybe, in the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean, where sunlight can no longer reach, something still remains. Silent, forgotten, waiting. A city lost to time, a story buried beneath the waves. So the question still stands. Was Atlantis real? Or was it simply the greatest legend ever told? And if it was real, then one final question remains. Are we ready to find it?